Hi, friends. Welcome back. We're here for more Cursed Captains of Cthulhu as we see what this pirate crew are going to get up to this week. Sadly, we have no Noir today. We're going to be missing Papa's sad soul as Noir is on his way home from Gen Con. So we hope you get home safe, friend. And we will hopefully see you next week for all of the spooky, creepy stuff going on here. A couple of things to talk about before we go around and see how our wonderful players are doing. As usual, please go check out the Black Cats Gaming shop for all of your spy game related needs. Keep an eye out for late pledges coming soon to the Cursed Captains of Cthulhu Kickstarter if you've been watching the stream and fancy taking your own ship out on the waves and fighting against weird, gribbly Cthulhu mythos creatures. There is a new adventure up on the Black Cats Gaming DMs Guild page called The Plays, The Thing, that is set in a theatre. There's a load of mystery and cool stuff going on there. So please go and check that out because I think I have been told it is up there now. So if you need a new adventure for your players, that's a good couple of hours long with some really great characters and some story going on there, please go check that out. But otherwise, let's go around. I can't see the Twitch overlay, so I'm just going to go by who's on my screen here. Off to the left of me is Hamna. How you doing, friend?
I am doing well. Hello, everyone. My name is Hamna. I use any and all pronoun, and I'm a TTRPG performer. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects that I'm a part of. I'll be plugging one at the end of this stream that is happening tomorrow, which is going to be super fun. But today I will be playing Lahib Zuffer, and I'm very excited to see what kind of nonsense they get up to today.
It's always a surprise to see where this ends up because I get in my head roughly the bits of where you might be heading, and then by the end of the session I'm like, I didn't think they'd do that. What?
If it makes you feel better, even I don't know what's gonna happen. So
just I'm looking at the Prison Break episode and last week of like, oh, they're all doing the spooky rituals. Okay. Next on my screen, talking about spooky rituals and somebody who came into the middle of one of them. Kurt, how are you doing?
I am doing just fine. I am Kurt, also known as Covenant the Horrible Alchemist. You can find me lurking in all of your discords everywhere. Aside from that, I'm doing wonderful. I'm excited this week, and more. That's not right. Will most likely be happening today. I have no doubt of that at all.
As is Bart's nature to see spooky shit and just go, nope. Possibly the most sensible one on this crew for that reason. But the person who looks after all of the crew, make sure they're all well fed. Belle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Hi, I'm Belle Scher, she, her, and I'm playing Winifred Teague today. She's a 65-year-old lady who's been on the sea her entire life, and now she's not sure if the sea is a welcoming place anymore. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to today, and not much to plug, really.
Okay, well, in which case then I suppose we should jump back in and head over to Nassau, where you're all in a tavern. For folks in chat, last week, lots of things went on. Our crew arrived back on the shores of Nassau. Bart went to go and speak to Captain Hornigold about what had been going on and discovered that the mysterious black stone that the crew had been carrying, found in Winifred's pot with a note from Valaire, was part of the deal that was struck between Hornigold and Valaire. And that Valaire had bought the stone off of Hornigold because Hornigold didn't want to sell it to Jennings, who was the only other interested party. Laheb now has the stone and may or may not have conducted a very spooky ritual in the sea to try and contact the entity known as Cthulhu, and seemingly successfully. Papa decided to submerge his face into the strange bone bowl that had the black liquid that they found aboard the Cthulhu cultist ship, and seemed to commune again with the Kraken. And Upon Bart discovering this ritual taking place, pulling him from the bowl, he absorbed all of the strange black liquid that had been so skin-phobic before. And Winifred managed to gather some more supplies for the ship, actually rest up, unlike some of the other crew, didn't really get a chance to rest, and sorted out a meeting between them and Captain Haid to update her on what had happened on the voyage and whether or not they were successful in breaking the Sea Witch Dorna out of prison on Port Royal. And this is where you find yourselves pulling up chairs at a quiet table in the corner of the tavern as Pearl sets down some drinks and some dried meats and cheeses on the table at Haid's request. She doesn't appear to be in the best of moods, which Winifred, you had been informed that was the case by Coin Purse when you last saw him aboard the Lady Silence. She is joined by Coin Purse and Jugs, who both sit, as they have you seen before, either side of her, as she kind of leans back in the chair, still wearing the leather coat, and her captain's hat now resting on the table in front of her. She looks out at all of you, piercing blue eyes and her usual face covering that covers all the top of her nose, all of her mouth and throat, right down until it tucks in to the slightly off-white shirt that she's wearing beneath her jacket. You notice by this point, as you've kind of moved over to this table, that Papa sat down, and as you look over now, is slightly laid back in the chair, very asleep from all of the grog that was poured down his throat to get him to shake out of his slightly terrified state previously.
Nevertheless, Winifred gathers some cheese and some things to eat and puts it on a little, I don't know, do they have plates?
There's probably like a wooden block or something that it's been served on, just like something to put it on.
Right.
So probably not any plates. This place is not
She
at the
sets
height
them
of
aside
dining.
for Papa because Papa needs to eat something too. And she'll make sure that when he wakes that he gets something to eat.
But yeah, he is asleep in his chair as the rest of you are awake. And Haid, you watch Haid for a moment as her eyes linger on Papa's sleeping form curiously before she looks back at all of you.
Boy, this just keeps getting better and better.
She tilts her head and raises an eyebrow at you, Bart, waiting expectantly.
Nice to see you, Captain Haid.
She politely
That's what we're
nods
supposed to say.
in your direction.
Right. She looks over to Bart, our captain here.
Just kind of look at her
Fill
like,
you in.
The eyebrows raise a little bit higher.
so who talks first? You talk first? I talk first? How's this work?
She looks
doesn't
over
talk.
at Coin Purse as Jugs is like taking a deep swig of grog. And there's this eerie, weird silence where she's looking at him and he's looking at her, kind of nodding as if she were talking, but she doesn't seem to say a word. And he looks back at all of you. Well, Captain Haid here would like to know about the mission. It went successfully, I assume.
You know, in some respects it did. In other respects it went horribly, horribly wrong.
Just like I said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you brought the Sea Witch back, right?
Yeah, sure did. Where she's at now, nobody knows.
I didn't say that, but yeah.
And you see Haid and Saxby exchange a look as Haid kind of leans forward slightly in the seat.
But I'm sorry, I'm mistress of the sea who can summon things. Has no business with me attempting to stop her if she decides to depart my vessel. And so she departed. And May she go with God. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I was not about to try and force her to stay there.
She has a slightly disappointed and very annoyed look across her face for a moment. She looks over at Jugs, who, for the most part, in the entire time that you have ever spent in the presence of this man, has said very little. And he finally puts his grog down, looks at her. The awkward, eerie silence happens again. But she's on the island, right?
That is a very educated guess. Yes.
She was this morning.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to find her then.
No, we're not. No. You have people for this.
Yes.
We have bigger issues kind of going on right now.
I think at this point, Lahabe tries to like kind of like cut in, and they like put their arm like on the table and extend out a hand and say, "Captain Haid, I don't believe that we've met for quite some time."
She looks you over, kind of squints her eyes as if she's trying to study something in you.
I think Lahabe like purposefully tries to. I think at this point, they're kind of sitting in a way such that like the collar of their jacket is maybe covering their neck, because everyone has heard stories of doctor, not a doctor, of Captain Haid and of the acolytes, and so they're very careful not to show the bruise that's on their neck, but in so doing, they say, "Lahabe Zephyr, I've been, let's say, out of commission for some time now, but I'm here. Actually, the same mission that was to bring Dorna, the Sea Witch, as you call her, to you brought me as well. I happen to know Dorna, spent quite a lot of time with her, and I'm curious, what is it that you need her for?"
Haid continues to kind of eye you as you talk. She's clearly listening, but she doesn't say a word as she looks. Are you actively trying to hide this mark? Like you're making some kind of effort to position yourself and...
Yeah.
Okay.
I think like trying to like do like one of these, and like the collar of the jacket is like trying to cover it, but making it look as casual as possible.
I want us to do an opposed test as you try to do this. So if you go ahead and make a savvy test for me, we're just going to roll and we're going to take the higher of the two numbers. Okay.
I got a 9, so that's probably not great.
She got a 13. Haid is quite perceptive, and you probably realize this as she's eyeing you, and you watch in the moment as you're talking, right at the end as her eyes drop to your collar.
Bart, did you have something to say?
I was going to see if there was any way that I could assist Lahabe at all and feel like, yes, my first officer has a point. What are you going to do? Like trying to pull her attention away a little bit?
I feel like for this is more about how Lahabe is kind of presenting themselves here, and that kind of deception of... Because, you know, if you've ever tried to, like, purposely hide a bruise or a mark or, like, something on a piece of clothing, it's really difficult to try and, like, find a way to naturally sit that, you know, disguises something.
I don't have foundation to hide my hickey from Cthulhu. Like,
and her gaze drops to your collar.
Is it obvious that she knows what's underneath it?
I feel like, Lahabe, if you're making a conscious effort to try and hide it, you notice the moment that she stops looking into your eyes and just for a split second drops to the collar, and there's just a moment of lingering before she looks back at you with a kind of knowing look. Knowing what, you're not quite sure, but like she's noticed something.
I think at that, Lahabe is going to try and play it cool, and like they've kind of been like in like a kind of like open, like leaning in kind of position at this point, and so they're just going to kind of move back and like put the same arm that was on the table, like on behind their chair, and now like not even trying to hide it. Like I'm sure like at this point, like the collar kind of opens up and you can see more clearly the tentacle like bruise on their neck. And they repeat the question.
And Hay tilts her head as if to kind of almost look round to get a better look at it. And then very slowly but confidently reaches her hand across the table as if to shake yours.
I will shake her hand.
She has a very firm handshake, retracts it, and sits back in the chair a little bit more. As there's another awkward, silent pause that Bart and Belle, you are kind of used to after your first couple of meetings with Haid. But Laheb, you might find this odd and strange that she never seems to speak, but the two men beside her seem to speak for her. And Saxby pipes up again. Well, we can find this Dorna, did you say her name was? The sea
Yes,
witch.
that's
Okay.
correct.
But
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean? You were talking about some other disaster, some terrible things. What's been going on?
Well, first off, I kind of need a point of clarification here or whatnot. I'm kind of having issue with the fact that she continues to talk through you two, but refuses to talk to us directly. It's kind of off-putting, so to speak. So could there maybe be a possible effort put forward for her to speak directly to us versus through filters?
He looks at the captain with he goes a slight paler shade as you say this, and looks at the captain. Looks back at you. Captain Haid doesn't speak.
But she speaks to you. I know. She sends her thoughts to your thoughts. I get it. Listen, we've been through hell. Literally. The past few days, so my fuse has gotten real short. We want answers. Real answers. Not spooky mystery answers. Real answers. Why do you want this? Why do you want her?
To try and find out what's been happening to all these ships and these crews. We told you that.
Krakens. That's what's happened. Krakens. Lots of them. Big ones. Ship-killing ones. That's what's happened.
Monsters.
Why so recently? There's got to be something that's causing this.
Well, isn't that kind of what your camp is for?
Yes. That is what our camp is for, but we couldn't go to Jennings with any of this without some evidence. Without some aid to fix the problem. That's why we wanted you to break the sea witch out of prison. She could have answers. She might be able to help.
Well, that we did. We did break her out of prison.
Yep, certainly did break her out.
Did you discover anything else while you were there?
She's good at making knots.
There was a statue.
And at this point, Haid leans forward again, her elbows on the table, and she looks at you, Winifred.
There was a statue that was in the governor's house that was acquired.
By me, I would like to point out, I acquired it. This guy. I did.
It was a group effort. Yes.
And she
But
looks over at
our good captain did acquire it.
She looks over at Jugs, and there's another uncomfortable silence as he then speaks. What was the statue of? Why is it important?
It was a peculiar color and a peculiar object. It looked greenish with lots of tentacles.
Do you have it? Do you have it with you?
Like Bart at this point, at the mention of that, kind of like slides his foot underneath the table and like taps Winifred's foot. Like, no, you don't. No, you like, you know, that whole like, no, you don't have it on you right now.
I sure don't. And she tilts her pot so that the captain can see that there's nothing like a statue inside of there. It's just a lot of little trinkets at this point.
And she keeps everything in that pot.
Out of character, the statue is on the ship, correct? Or does somebody actually have it with them?
I believe it's on the ship, unless Bart took it.
So too.
Because you didn't take it to Hornigold, did you?
No, I did not take it. We went back to the ship to go get it, to take it to Hornigold.
And then the black stone. The black stone is what you currently have. Laheb has in their pocket at the table. Yeah. The Cthulhu statue is still aboard the dream.
Yeah, because we went back and we're looking, and then we found Papa, and
you got distracted by Papa drowning himself in mysterious, strange black liquid.
Sentient tar. Yes.
I just wanted to clarify for my purposes. All right.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Well, you'll need to bring the statue to us. Did you discover anything else? Why the governor had this statue? Where it came from?
Well,
Laheb is going to pull out from their pouch the letter that they found in the governor's office. The correspondence between Archibald Hamilton and a Spanish cultist, and just slide it over to Hade.
And Hade takes the letter, pardon me, and opens it up and takes a minute to read it. And suddenly looks alarmed as she folds the letter back up and offers it back to you. Looks either side, coin purse and Saxby. And Saxby leans forward. If you have that statue, we're going to need it. And we are going to be on a journey. So if there is anything else that we should know.
We, when you say we, does that mean your crew, or does that mean both of our crews?
Both of our crews. And from what you've just said, Bart here is captain of the Dreamer. Congratulations. But the Dreamer does belong to the captain here, which for now puts you under our command.
But the crew belongs to me. Ship's kind of useless without a crew.
It is, and a crew's kind of useless without resources and pay.
I have access to both of those.
Oh, we're well aware of your background. Don't you worry, Bartholomew.
Bart is noticeably like, God damn it, stop playing the upper hand.
Wonder how Hornigold's taken that.
What? Me being captain of my own boat?
Mm.
Oh, he thinks it's grand. He thinks it's wonderful. He's rightly proud that I have taken my just place amongst the other seafaring captains of the sea.
Bet the old bastard is pissed off that it's on one of our ships, though, isn't he?
Details.
Still. We're going to be taking a little trip, so you're going to have to go and find that sea witch and that statue and anything else that you have that is interesting. Because it's time that we brought in people who perhaps can offer even more insight into this.
May I ask, what is the end goal? To stop all this happening? Right?
Find out what's taking these ships, pulling crews to their deaths, perhaps, or worse, judging by that letter.
Right. Do you think it's possible these crews that were taken still exist in some place that's not dead?
Possibly.
Do you intend to visit that place?
That wouldn't really be down to us. It'd be down to Jennings.
Well, I could take you back to the dreamer and retrieve the statue.
Do you have any more correspondence like that?
This was all I found. But I must say, and I think at this, even though Eliza has not been speaking directly, but has been speaking through other people, I think Lahib, whenever they address Captain Haid, will always look at her and speak as if she is the one speaking. And so they look at her like directly in the eye and they say, if we are to work together, I think you're going to need to be forthright with the rest of our crew. We might be technically under your command, but we have more information than you do at this point. And I think if you want it, you're going to have to be honest with us too.
Go ahead and make me a savvy test.
I'm bad at those, but we'll try. 14.
She looks at you, and it's very unnerving the way that, because she is completely silent throughout this entire exchange. She never talks. You never see the cloth that covers her face even move to emulate that she might be saying something, but she stares intently, like she listens to every word anyone says and is constantly listening and watching. And you see the way that her eyes dart to catch details. She nods.
All right, then. Bart, I guess it's up to you.
Where are we going?
And Jugs pushes the chair out and stands up from the table. You're going to go and find Dorna, retrieve that statue and anything else that you might have hidden away. You're going to get the Dreamer ready to set sail, and you will follow us in course to go and see Jennings.
Wrong. Sit down. We're not going anywhere until you tell us first where we are going. I don't care if I got to make an intimidation check of some kind or whatnot. Bart is fed up with the whole, you're going to do as you're told. I'm a captain.
Okay, go ahead. What do you want to use to make this? Like, how are you threatening him? Are you just trying to sound scary? Are you also standing up and trying to look physically threatening?
I would say probably a bit of physical threatening, and mainly just attitude. Like, he has gone from, all right, that's it. I am tired of getting pushed around by all these damn people. And guess what? The games are over. You're about to see a whole nother animal. And like, it's almost as if like he has a complete personality shift from like the whole like, oh my God, there's crazy shit going on, because now he knows he's dealing with a man. He's dealing with a human who's just as weak as he is. So it's that whole like, no, sit down, shut up, and answer the questions that I ask, not do as you're told. So maybe, I don't know, brawn or I almost want to say seafaring, because he's trying to utilize his rank as a captain. Like he is now the captain of a boat kind of thing.
If that's where it's kind of coming from, like, I am in charge, I am a captain now. Like, I like that use of seafaring.
And if Winifred can in any way be supportive enough to, I don't know, maybe do a nudge or a reroll, because Winifred is the type of person. Okay, yeah, an assist. Winifred's the type of person who backs up her captain, even if it changes. And she believes in Bart.
Oh. What is your seafaring score?
My seafaring is 2.
Kurt, what's your seafaring score?
3.
3.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Wow.
Technically yours is higher than Winifred's, but I'll give you the +1 anyway.
Okay. So I roll and add additional 1 to it?
Yeah.
To the final total.
Yeah, so normally it's 2 if Winifred's score would be higher than yours, but I think Winifred herself kind of being somebody who's been on the sea a long time probably is the kind of person that can carry that. If I vouch for them,
Yeah.
you know, it's good. So
That's a 14. If it's not high enough, I will use my reroll.
no, 14 is enough to get this one.
Okay.
As Jugs frustratingly stands there. And like there's this moment where you wonder if he's going to lunge across the table at you. You
Like-
recognize that kind of stance of not wanting to be challenged.
Like Bart kind of follows it up with the whole, we have the statue, we have the rock, we've been doing all of the legwork. We're old answers. Period. No, he'll overplay his hand. He knows what he knows.
Jugs starts on the beginning of a rant that starts with, well, we can just take it, like that usual, like, well, I don't.
Yeah.
And you can see he's not entirely confident in what he's saying. The more that you push the fact that, no, we have this thing. This is ours. And he looks at you and in the end kind of relaxes back, slightly defeated, looks at Haid, who looks thoroughly unimpressed at him. Looks back at you, still stood there, just waiting to kind of defend your point again. Looks down at the floor and sits back down at the table and doesn't look at you for the rest of this exchange.
So where are we going?
It's Coin Purse that speaks. We're going to go and meet Jennings. Not too far from here, there is a small island. It's currently used as a kind of, not so much hideout, but a resupply. He stops by once every month or so.
And it's protected, right?
From
the things that are out there. And he like gestures like out the window. Like the things that are out there in the water.
If they can be shot with the long nines, or they can be harpooned, then yes.
That's not what I mean. And he like looks directly at her. You know exactly what I'm asking. Is it protected or not?
She just nods.
Cool. We'll need until dawn to refit and get everybody back on board. Everybody's earned a little bit of shore leave, so I'm not going to take their night from them.
And Haid looks at you with her very sparkling, brilliant eyes that are almost smiling. It's that kind of look, but it's hard to tell with the lower half of her face covered. She nods. And she stands from the table, and Coin Purse stands up, Jugs slightly more reluctantly. She picks up her hat and fixes it to her head and waits and gestures as if to say to all of you, well, go and make your refit then.
Kind of put an arm up underneath Papa, like as trying to maintain as much of an intimidating presence as I can. Stand up. All right, let's go.
I think Laheb will help you hoist Papa out of the tavern as well.
As you go to do that, Laheb, and kind of you all start turning to leave as they kind of stand and watch the last kind of ditch at a power play here, you feel a hand on your shoulder. As you look to it, it's a black leather-gloved hand. And Haid is standing there, staring at you under this low-worn tricorn hat.
The rest of you, I'll meet you back at the ship.
Like,
Right. You take care now.
I will.
And Haid also gets a look, but then a cordial nod, and Winifred trusts and starts to head off.
And nothing else happens. She removes the hand from your shoulder until the others have left the tavern. And she waves off Saxby and Jugs, who leave. Jugs, who looks like he is in even worse of a mood than he has ever been, in general. Like, he arrived and he's not particularly smiley. Saxby's quite personable, and Jugs just kind of sits there silently. And she brushes her finger across the collar as if to move it out of the way. Doesn't actually touch your skin as such, but just moves it and looks at you. Lets her hand fall away.
Do you like it?
You hear a voice, like it's in the back of your mind somewhere. A very clipped, very well-spoken English accent. Do I like it? No. It's corruption. That's what that is. Do I understand it? Yes.
Well, I suppose you know that it's not just a very tasteful tattoo then, don't you?
That it is not. I see that you too play with forces beyond perhaps what some of us were given at birth.
If I may ask, do you also have marks to show for it?
Some. Some not too dissimilar to yours. Others from things far worse.
Worse.
Mm.
And yet you're still here.
And yet I am.
What do you know about these creatures, about these places that they live in?
I know that they are older, far older than any of us, perhaps any of our kind. I know that that letter was sent by somebody who meddles in those kinds of forces. And I know the creature that they worship.
You know the creature. As in you know of it, or you know the creature?
And she looks around, and the tavern's fairly empty here, and she pulls you over into the corner. Because every tavern has a dark, shadowy corner somewhere. And she takes her mask, and she pulls the fabric down over her mouth, down, pulling down her neck. And for a moment, you wonder why she keeps her face covered. There is nothing unusual about her nose or her lips or her cheeks, but as you get to her neck, as she pulls this scarf down, you can see the area looks almost like it's necrotic. Deep black purple veins spread out from the center of her throat all the way around and start creeping up the edge of her jawline. And they seem to spread deeper past the point of where she can pull the mask down on the shirt.
I see. I have a way to speak to this creature.
She pulls the mask back up over her face. Speak to it. How? In your dreams. That's how it came to me the first time.
The first time. And the second?
Always through dreams. Horrible, unimaginable nightmares.
Lahib sighs. Yes, in dreams. But lately, more than that, I think reality? At least I was awake when it happened. Whether or not it was here or elsewhere, that I couldn't tell you, but it was real. It was there, and it spoke to me.
When I saw that creature, when I delved a bit too far, even for Jennings' liking. What I saw was so horrifying. It was like an infection. I remember the last time I heard something come out of my mouth, and it was a scream so terrible that it did this to me. She gestures at her throat again.
If Haid will allow it, I think Lahab will just kind of reach out to put like a hand on her arm. Kind of like comfortingly is the goal.
She doesn't seem to react to it, but she doesn't stop you.
I was close to that point, but I know a way to be there in its presence and to push yourself to keep going, to protect yourself, I guess, against its fear, I guess, is the best way to put it. And at this, Lahib kind of gestures to their like leg, which is where they had like cut themselves open when they were last contacting Cthulhu. It requires a sacrifice, of course, but I think one that's worth it to get closer to the bottom of this.
It's what I tried to do. When I failed, I nearly got myself and all of my crew killed. There was a reason that I haven't been able to present any of this to Jennings. I'm not particularly in his good books.
You were alone last time, but you're not here.
You wanted me to be honest with you. Some of this, yes. I have concern for what's going out on the seas, but I would also like to not be ostracized from the rest of the court. What you present to Jennings could finally get me back in his good books and perhaps deal with this problem.
How could I help you with Jennings? What are you proposing?
Tell me how you contacted this creature. I know what you might hear about us. That we're terrible. That we seek to bring ruin. That's not the case. We seek to find the things behind this kind of power. This horrible, destructive, maddening power, and try to wield it and tame it and use it against itself. Like fighting fire with fire.
But you know what they say about that, don't you? It never works.
Spreads. No, but neither do harpoons and cannons against creatures that can turn you mad just by looking at them, that can invade your dreams and your thoughts, that can take the dead and turn them into something other. It's not about taking their power and using it like they do, but understanding it, transforming it, wielding it in a way that works for us against them, learning how to defend against it. You can't do that if you don't know what you're defending against.
I agree
Jennings
with you
is
on
a
that.
cruel man with a bad reputation, but he is cruel because he has to be. If he's not, people run away with this kind of power. People feel like with just a bit more of it, they could take the top spot. They could run his court their way. He might be terrible and cruel, but not everybody under him is.
Captain, I agree with you that knowledge is power. It's why I do what I do. It's why I look where other people won't. But while I might maybe trust you, can we trust Jennings? Can we truly trust Jennings not to wield this power in ways that would destroy us all?
He thought I had gone too far. And that's why I am cut off. sitting on the fringes of his court when I used to serve almost directly under him. Do you really think that if he was going to wield this unwisely, he would have stopped me? Would have punished me for what he thought was going too far and trying to take too much? That put too many people in danger?
That's either wisdom or a power grab. And I don't know which.
He doesn't need to power grab. He sits as one of the heads of the Brethren Court. He has the respect of Blackbeard, the disdain of Hornigold, but that's an old rivalry. If he wanted to challenge for Blackbeard's position, he would have done it years ago. But you can understand how I can't just show up and demand that he pour money and resources and men into disappearing ships that's possibly related to a power that I once almost overdid it on. You'd think I was just looking for another excuse.
I understand that.
You said that you contacted this creature, Cthulhu. I think he's called. I'm sure you know the pronunciation better than I, but how? I could never reach out to it. I only had when it reached out to me.
Are you sure you want to go there? And Laheb kind of looks at Hade's neck.
It has already stolen my voice. It will steal much more from others.
Would you give me time to think about it? If we're sailing on the seas together, it won't be hard to find you.
Trust has to go both ways. What I've told you, I haven't shared with anybody else except the 2 men of my own crew who sit beside me every night. If I wanted to, I could send my entire crew over to your ship and take everything you had, but I haven't. And I wouldn't.
Okay. And I think Laheb will go into the best explanation they can possibly muster on how to cast this spell.
Do you mention the stone?
I do not.
Let's see. Do you think you could cast it again?
Right now?
Not right
to
now,
rest.
but just at some point.
I can.
I only ask because Jennings will ask when you meet him.
Well, not sure that I can bring people with me, but I could go back.
I would appreciate it if you didn't mention to anybody else my situation. And she indicates, like she places her hand at the base of her throat.
I think Laheb will, squeeze, oh my god, her name, Captain Hade's hand, and just say quietly, "Your secret is safe with me."
And she does the same in that kind of friendly, kind of camaraderie gesture of places her hand on your arm and goes to shake your hand. At dawn, then.
At dawn.
She nods, readjusts her coat, and makes sure the scarf is properly up, turns on her heel, and promptly leaves. Bart and Winifred, where are you heading now? Because between the two of you is a very drunk, unconscious Papa who is probably like semi-awake, mumbling something about krakens and the usual kind of spooky stuff that Papa comes out with.
Oh,
Perhaps not necessarily muttering in English either. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's just
that is a point, actually. He's not mumbling. There's bits of English, there's bits of Spanish.
not that.
And there is bits of a language which you don't recognize, but it sounds harsh to the ear and slightly
sounds like that.
just like a little shiver in the spine whenever the odd
Yeah.
phrase comes up.
Like,
When
oh, no, go ahead.
when Winifred hears him do that, she shushes him every time that he starts
Yeah.
to talk like that. Yeah, shh, it's okay. No, it's okay.
Very
Papa.
much the
We're
whole-
going back
Very
to
much the
boat.
whole, you are damaging my calm. Stop talking like that.
You hear a couple of words. You hear the word relay mentioned again, that word that Laheb had translated.
Laheb had said that.
You hear mumblings about the deep. You hear mumblings about the city.
Yeah, I'm not convinced I really want to go to this city.
You hear mumblings about not having received, which is something that Papa was going on about, that the Kraken had taken but not received. Until, where are you heading back to? Are you heading back to the ship? Are you...
Yeah, very
Going to-
much get him back to the ship and into his room.
You get him back to the ship, and as it's a bit of a struggle. I imagine that you have to like have someone lower a net to hoist him
Oh,
up
yeah.
onto the deck. Winifred, if you've never been in, you would never have been in Papa's room on the headsman. And here it's much smaller, the quarters, but it is something else. You step through this door and nobody's been over this threshold apart from Bart, who has been in here once before. There is a goat in the corner that bleats at you. Several
alive?
snakes.
Okay.
Oh no, it's alive. Several snakes that are free roaming around this room, coiling between candlesticks and strange animal skulls. Pinned across the back wall are a number of religious symbols from various cultures and creeds.
That's fine.
There also seems to be a very well painted oil painting of Bart with the eyes crossed out, resting in one corner.
Art very much takes a note of that again. It's like, Papa, we gonna talk.
Bart,
You can see.
Where did you even get that painting painted?
I didn't. That's the thing. I never had that commissioned.
Oh no.
Yeah. Concern.
Oh, no.
Concern. Lots of concern.
There's part of you that wonders where some of this stuff came from, since Papa would have lost a lot of his belongings, like most of you, back on the headsman. But it looks like that between your few trips to Nassau, he seems to have restockpiled. The area in front of the bed is kind of cleared away, and you can see old chalk lines on the floor, burn marks and ashes. Clearly, this is where what he uses as a ritual space. And still on the bed, you can see the bone bowl with the shark's jaw teeth, shark's jaw kind of handles, and the empty glass vial that once contained an inky black liquid. This bowl is
gonna
empty.
set that aside. Yeah, we're just gonna set this on the table with the chicken feed and the
You put
Yeah.
it down. The bowl itself is immediately taken up as a resting place for another snake, some kind of boa that just slithers its way in and
Yeah.
coils up within it.
I don't
Happy legless lizard. There we go. Yeah.
Bart, what do you say that we should encourage Papa here to lose his stomach if that black stuff went into him? Maybe
I
a
don't
purge of some sort.
think that black stuff's gonna come out.
Okay. What do you think we can kill it with?
I don't think we can. I think we're gonna back very slowly out of this room and probably lock it, and we'll just let him sort himself out once we get out on the water.
All right. I'm just a little afraid that if we don't nip it in the bud, then Papa's gonna dive a little deeper. If you know,
I appreciate
bring
that.
us with him.
Well, that is a concern, but I think we've already been brought along. We're already on this ride.
Right.
As you have this conversation, Kiki starts screaming at something as she moves across a number of there's some of Papa's old wooden legs upon which snakes are wrapped round. There are just weird trinkets and bones as one of these snakes kind of pops up and startles her, and she starts screaming and knocking things over.
No, monkey. No.
We're out of here. We're out of here.
Yep.
And she's just howling and just stop.
Bart just
you place Papa in the bed, face up this time, and shut the door and lock it behind.
I put him in the recovery position.
Yes.
One leg up, one leg arm down, so he, just in case.
That's what you do, and you shut the door, and the strangeness of the room there disappears behind that closed door.
It's like a window into another world entirely.
The image of your oil-painted face with the eye scratched out still lingers, though.
Why?
You'd have to ask Noir. He was the one that came up with that.
Bart.
Why?
Captain, about the statue.
Yes.
How should we proceed?
Here's what I need you to do. I need you to go get it.
Okay.
I need you to hide it.
All right. I know some places in LaSalle.
Hide it. Don't even tell me where it's at. Don't tell me. Don't tell anybody else. You hide it.
Gotcha. All right. Will do, Captain. And she goes off to retrieve it, which... Would you have kept it with you, Bart? You had it last, I think.
It would be probably in the captain's quarters.
Captain's quarters. Okay.
Yeah, well, a bunch of the stuff that you found was kind of put on the shelves in there, on the bookcase shelves.
Just to look at it. Winifred doesn't like looking at the things, so she takes she grabs an old potato sack from the kitchen and goes up to the captain's quarters and kind of just covers it in the potato sack and scoops it up and puts it in her pot, and heads back to shore.
Okay, where are you taking this? Are you going to hide it as Bart has asked, or are you going to deliver it to Haid as she requested?
Dun, dun,
Hide it for now.
Where would you like
to be clear? Bart meant hide it on the boat, not hide it on the island.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit.
She knows some places. Yeah, no, she takes and goes back to shore with it to hide it.
Do you have somewhere in mind that you'd like to hide it?
Oh gosh. Winifred probably knows.
You don't have to tell me on stream. You can message me and let me know where you decide to hide it if you like. If you're hiding it on shore.
Yes, it is on shore, and it's yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say that you have been around Nassau long enough to, like Papa, kind of have a couple of places that are, where you would put things, hide things, or keep things, or perhaps know people that could do that for you.
Right. Yeah.
Great.
So,
I filled in James.
You have until dawn the next morning to prepare for your voyage with Captain Haid, but you do still have to find Dorna, and if there's anything else you would like to do while you were here.
I get a hold of James, give him a very quick rundown, tell him let the crew enjoy as much as they can, but we set sail at dawn. I'll let him pick and decide how they come back, when they come back, things along those lines. Mm-hmm. And then I go find Big H.
James does remind you that to come and see him before you put your head down for the night, and as he kind of prepares.
Oh, yeah. No, that's happening. Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't think we're sleeping tonight, so there's that.
He recounts that we might not be, but you probably will be.
That would be great.
You can easily go and find Horn of Gold. As you get to the fort, you find he's not actually there. He has, for once, decided to leave it and is actually down in the kind of warehouse area, attending to some business. And that's where you find him, kind of mid-conversation with one of the warehouse keepers there. It looks like there's some money being exchanged and some papers being signed.
Basically, I just... For lack of a better term, I very much just go, here is what's going on. This is what's going on. This is what's happening.
Is there anything that you specifically leave out? That would probably be easier to ask.
No.
No. You tell him everything. Okay.
I tell him everything. And I basically go... We're setting sail at dawn.
Oh, are you now, Captain?
Yeah, I am. Thank you for acknowledging my title and rank. I appreciate that. But neither here nor there. I am strongly advising that by midday, you launch at least one other ship to follow us, because we're gonna need the backup.
And the key?
We need the key to get to where we're going. We can't get to Jennings' hideout without it.
Do you still have the key, Bart?
It's in safekeeping.
Do you know where in safekeeping, or is this the mystical kind of safekeeping that means you haven't lost it?
No. It's with my first officer.
So you're going to take the key that I didn't want to have in Jennings' hand straight to Jennings. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not directly, but we have bigger fish to fry. And who knows, if you perhaps send said ship to trail us, when the time comes, you may be offered Jennings on a silver platter, to which you can do with as you see fit. But right now, we need it.
If you're followed, Jennings will know, and he will never
Will he?
let you in his court.
Well, see, here's the problem. As long as I have that key, then I'm holding all the cards, and I have exactly what he wants, which is a very, very powerful position to have.
It
And if
is,
Jennings
until
wants,
he slits your throat with a cutlass.
he can certainly try.
You've never seen Jennings fight, have you, boy?
He's never seen me fight. And when I decide to make war, he'll see something he ain't ever seen before.
Monagold does not look convinced. He's giving you that look of, like when a kid's like, yeah, but I can do it. I can take him. And you've got like somebody older being like, yeah. That's the look he's giving you. It's like being
I bet it is.
Again.
I'll bet it is. I have no doubt that it is.
Well, if you fail, he gets the key. But I suppose that'll be okay because you won't be around to see the fallout anyway.
Hornigold, if we fail, everybody's dead. So I guess you best hope that I don't fail.
Oh, there's nothing here about hope. You best hope you don't fail. Welcome to responsibility, Bartholomew.
I don't want it. I don't want the responsibility. I don't. I hope there's someone I can pass it off to. But
just
for
hand
now,
me the key.
I get it. No, handing you the key will not get us to where we need to go. Handing you the key will not figure out or solve the problems of what we're facing out there. Unless, of course, you feel the need to, I don't know, maybe bring me in to the loop instead of treating me as, just a, lonely gun hand, that might be a good thing to do. Because at this point, the way I see it is I'm captain of a vessel, whether it be that vessel belongs to you or Jennings, and a crew and a will and all the keys and all the components to everything that is going on right now. I may not understand what they are, but I do know one thing about pirates. If I've got it and you want it, it's got value. So you can either bring me in and tell me what's going on, or we can continue to play games. But at the end of the day, you'll have to kill me and an entire crew and try to get the stuff that Jennings wants when he's already got his finger on it. So take your pick. I respect you, but don't treat me like a child.
And he gives you this long look. For you see something that you're not used to seeing Horn of Gold do. And he gives you a big smile. Looks like whatever you've seen is giving you some courage and some fire.
I'm just tired of being kept in the dark. I've seen enough of that in the past 2 weeks.
Well, see a bit more, and maybe I will bring you in.
We see much more. We may not make it. Just make sure you launch that ship by noonday.
You're not quite at the point of giving me orders yet, Bartholomew.
I may not be, but I hope to see your old ass here within a fortnight, so we'll go from there.
I suppose you can then take James as your quartermaster then.
Well, that wasn't an option. I'm just keeping you in the loop like I promised.
He gives you this look that's just like, okay.
Bart is very much the whole, I've had enough of your shit. I've had enough of your shit. I've had enough of your shit. All right. We're playing by our own rules.
And Horn of Gold's entire attitude, you can kind of tell is, I'm choosing to let you get away with this. Like you know that it's a very fine line between
he knows. Okay. But he also knows at the same time that he does know that he has all the cards. He has what Jennings wants and he has what Hornigold wants. He knows he has it all. So he's got to walk that fine line. And if he shows at this point even an ounce of weakness to either one of them, they're going to try and come after him. So as long as he's still roaring, no one's going to come and mess with him.
You oddly get the sense that Hornigold might just have a little bit of respect for having the guts. And that's perhaps why he's letting you get away with this.
You know what? I'll take that little drop. I'll take that little bitty drop.
And I imagine that might feel like a bit of a responsibility too. Of just because you've probably seen what happens to people that let Hornigold down after he gives them a little bit of rope.
Cannonball carrying contests at the bottom of the sea. Yeah, I've seen what happens.
Yeah. Not fun. As of yet, no winner ever been announced.
No, surprisingly enough, not. A lot of competitors. A lot of competitors.
Yes. Not a lot of winners.
No, I just don't want to make sure I'm not giving the wrong impression. Bart knows that he's got to buck up like a champ at this point, because if he doesn't, he's gonna get crushed. He is absolutely gonna get crushed. And I mean, what is pirates if not actors with guns, with real guns? So I mean, let's go with it, right?
What is everybody else doing then for the rest of the evening? Is there anything anyone wants to get done? You do still have to try and locate Dorna.
Right. On the way to put the statue where she's putting it, Winnie keeps an eye out for Dorna.
Go ahead and just make me a, let's see. Oh, wrong screen. I'm gonna say seafaring test here, because rather than savvy,
That's a 19.
19. As you're on your way back, actually, from hiding the statue upon the south shores somewhere, you spot just off in the distance somewhere a woman standing at, it's another one of these kind of makeshift stalls, seemingly talking to somebody there and receiving a package that she tucks away into her skirt pockets and walks the other way. Leheb, what are you doing right now? Are you with Winifred, kind of looking together? Are you...
I have an idea. So Black Spot as a spell.
Mhm.
It says that I can cast it on any living creature within distant range. Does that require line of sight? Or can I cast it on Dorna?
Can you read me
Is
the
it-
description of the spell?
Yeah, it literally just says you may cast this spell on any living creature within distant range.
I'm going to say, because you know Dorna and you know her very well, you can attempt to cast it.
Okay. Let's do that then. I'm gonna try it. I'm only gonna use one die because I can't use two. We're gonna get a harness. Oh, it's actually an automatic success because I get a +9 to it and the casting number is 9.
Okay.
That's pretty great.
So do you want me to still roll or?
You still have to roll because it still costs
Okay.
courage.
Yeah,
in
I can
order
take off
to-
the courage for sure. But I
Yeah.
mean, do you want me to bother like doing the roll? Because I got
11.
an 11.
I assume that the two of you have like met back up on shore then and going together. And it's after
Sure.
Winifred spots Dorna somewhere off in the distance that you cast this spell. You immediately get a sense of where she is. She seems to be wandering around the market somewhere, and you can start making your way towards her. It's odd though. The spell doesn't feel as strong as it usually does. And you have to really keep your concentration on it to keep feeling it there. And you suspect that this is perhaps either some kind of innate ability of Dorna's, or perhaps she's aware that this has been cast on her. But you make your way to her, and as you do, you find her, she is sitting waiting for you on some kind of smoothed out rocks along a shoreline just past the market that overlooks where some ships further out on this kind of very, very long shoreline are being keel-hauled and retarred.
Can we say we like stopped to get a snack on our way or something like that? Because I wanna give her some food.
Absolutely.
You can 100% stop and get pirate tacos.
Yeah.
Pirate tacos.
When we
There you go, Kurt. I made it
approached
happen.
Dorna-
Pirate tacos.
When we approach Dorna, I think the first thing Leheb is gonna do is just hand over the taco, like without saying a word to Dorna, but like smiling at her.
And she looks at you, she takes it and takes a bite. Thank you. You were looking for me. How can I help?
Yes, I can tell that you know that we were looking for you. Winnie, do you want to fill Dorna in?
Well, are you familiar with the Lady Silence?
One of Captain Eliza Hade. One of Jennings's lot, I believe.
Right. Well, kind of. Yes, that's who. She'd like to see you.
I told you before, I won't work for Jennings or his people.
I don't believe it's working for Jennings necessarily. It's complicated. You see, I understand that you have a great amount of knowledge that is very useful for what we're looking for. I don't know if we are looking for it. I really don't know what we're doing.
But this knowledge that I could share with you will find its way back to him. won't it?
It doesn't have to. We can be strategic about what we do and do not tell him.
Yes.
We don't have to share everything.
Right. Would you at least meet with her?
She looks at you like she doesn't want to answer, but if you want to try and convince her to meet with Haid, you can, Winifred.
We'll be there with you. Yes. Can I roll a savvy check
You
or something?
can roll a savvy check, yeah.
I can roll a savvy check. I only have a +1. Hey, 15. Not bad.
She looks very, very hard at the both of you.
Just a chat. No harm in a chat.
You saved my life. Okay. I will speak to Captain Haid.
Much obliged, dear. Much obliged. We're also planning on, we meet at dawn to speak with Haid. Now we're staying for the night. I plan on making a big meal, and you're welcome to join as well.
Oh, for your cooking, Winifred. Of course.
I am cooking. You'll find us on the beach, no doubt.
That I will. There are some things I must attend to if there is nothing else you need of me, though.
Do you need help?
No, I have everything I need. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, no,
We'll see you at dawn.
Of course.
There is one thing you should know. We are planning on setting sail with the Lady Silence as well at dawn, and you by no means need to join us because it's clear your feelings towards the captain and Jennings, rightly so, of course. But just so you know that you are welcome on our ship if you'd like to come aboard.
I appreciate the both of you. Are very kind and generous. But no, I will not be setting sail with you.
Well, we'll start with the chat. We'll start with the chat at dawn, and we'll go from there.
If there is nothing else.
You have a good day, Dorna.
And she smiles at you and stands up from the rock and smooths out her skirts. And you can see the bulge in the pocket where she has clearly stowed away whatever package she has bought. She looks over both of you. And Laheb, she looks at her hand and you can see the black spot that has appeared on her palm. Very clever. And she gives you a big smile. I didn't know you could cast such magics when I first met you. But she wipes her hand over it as if she's just dusting her palms. And it's gone. And you feel the spell fade completely.
You're a difficult woman to find. I just thought I'd help our chances.
Cannot hold it against you. But if I did not want you to find me, you wouldn't have done.
You always did make that clear, even when we were locked up together. That's what I like
It's
about
amazing
you.
they caught you in the first place.
Well, everybody has their means and ways. I will see you at dawn. And she disappears. And if you both turn around to head back and look back, she's gone. She does a Batman.
Well, that's that. My Lahib, you are awfully honest sometimes. I wasn't going to mention the setting sail part.
It's Dorna. If you don't tell her things, she will find her own way of finding them out. Trust me, I learned that in the months that we spent in the cells.
True. I've got some food to make. I'll meet you on the beach later.
Yeah, I think Lahib will actually just join you and come with you to the ship. Yeah.
Great.
I don't think they've got anything else that they particularly want to do.
So one thing I want to know is, and I'm sure everyone in chat does, because I do, is what is Winifred cooking up? What do we see when we get to this beach? Because I don't want to move us too far ahead in the story because we don't have Noir here this week, and obviously he's got some key stuff going on. So we get a kind of slightly more timey episode this week.
Okay. Yeah.
But tell us, as you know, the sun goes down, starts heading down low, and is reflecting across the water, and you've found a little spot of beach that you've kind of like camped up at, and you know you've taken for yourself. And some of the crew are here. Some are on the boats who are staying. Some are off in taverns and gambling houses with some of the money that Bart put aside for them to do that. But a large number of them are here on the beach for Winifred's cooking. Some of them even stumble back from gambling houses drunk to get here on time for whatever it is you're cooking up. You've got this huge fire on the beach going. Toby has brought down some more of what Toby made in his little casks that he's been putting it in, maybe charging a bit too much of it to some of the sailors who are few too many cups in to notice the extra reals that he's adding on to the end. But what is Winifred cooking up for everybody?
So it's a little late in the day to do a whole pig, but we're gonna split one up and we're gonna try and bury it in the coals. We're gonna pepper it up really good and bury it in the coals and let that heat just press everything in there, keep all the juices in there, and pepper it up really, really good, salt it up. And she's got some pineapple that she's treating with honey and also kind of putting those on the coals as well. Just like some grilled pineapple and some pineapple and rum, of course. And it's mainly pig.
This sounds like a recipe you actually cook with, and so I'm like,
pig roast. Oh yeah.
Like when's dinner? Like like
every October I go to a pig roast. Yep. But yeah, and whatever some smelt on the side if people want fish, some sardines, whatever people want. She'll have a nice clean, maybe like a piece of slate that she treats like a griddle almost, and that's what she's grilling things on. And yeah, she's very happy to serve up anyone who comes by, but of course crew gets bigger portions and is just generally jolly, trying to put on a bright demeanor also when serving, because people need that right now. She knows that pirates aren't the most emotionally forthcoming lot, so she wants to provide the shoulder that they probably want but won't say that they want, and they've been through a lot lately. So yeah, I don't know what other items would be available in this. So probably, I don't know, corn, probably some corn. Yeah, roast it all up.
I imagine
lots of good spices too. Lots of good spices that she's found along the way.
I imagine there's a lot of that in the South too that's coming in and out of the warehouses.
Right.
You boost the morale of the crew massively. Everyone is much happier. They seemingly have forgotten the slight issue about money and payment, because this is all very extravagant, even if it's not really. If this is just basic cooking, you've just made it taste really good. People who are not even part of the crew, who have wandered in from the markets, come along and offer you, a real or two for a nice bit of a cut of the pig or some of the corn. I'm going to say that any of you that haven't recovered all courage yet can do so now, thanks to Winifred's great cooking. Usually it's alcohol, but since Winifred is the cook, I think this will count.
I was at 1, so this is extremely helpful. Thank
you. You have this night, and it's probably the first normal feeling evening in a long time. The food is great. There is music
Yes.
that comes along, some of the crew who play instruments. But you even think that at one point you catch Hornigold kind of making his way through Winifred. He comes up to you, hands you a couple of reals for some meat, and promptly kind of says hello, asks how you are, doesn't really say much else, and disappears back
Sure.
off into the night.
Sure, she gives him a pretty choice cut.
He seems
She
appreciative.
understands what he is giving to what he is lending to us, and yeah.
You get that there's a little bit of like checking up on his investment going on here. You know that feeling, like he's come down to say hello because you probably know Hornigold and have met him a good few times, being, on the sea for so long. But this is very much I'm just going to have a look around and see what's happening with this investment. He catches your eye from a distant spot, and he's kind of like biting through this nice strip of pig that Winifred has given him as he walks off, and just kind of eyes you to let you know he's there. Kind of holds it up as a sign of this is pretty good, and disappears back off into the streets of Nassau, so to speak. But the morning comes. I imagine many of you fall asleep on the beach or nearby. There's probably some tents set up later on in the evening for folks to gamble in. And when you wake up, this is probably the best sleep, apart from Winifred. Certainly for Laheb and Bart, who have been sleeping on the boat. This is the best sleep you've had. There are no terrible dreams. You actually feel rested for the first time in 2 weeks.
Do we also regain hit points upon sleeping?
You do.
I find James.
Okay. James is still awake, actually, in one of the tents along the beach. He is in, when people hit that kind of, I'm so asleep, I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
He's still playing what looks to be a game of liar's dice with a few other crewmen. And you can see as he's sitting there with the pot, a la Pirates of the Caribbean style, in that scene, looking at it through kind of not quite half closed eyes. 4 6s, he says to somebody else, and it goes around. And he looks as you get in, Captain, and he's clearly a bit drunk, but also a bit tired as he like lazily salutes. What did I say? 4 6s, and someone's like, "You already said that, James." I knew that. What? Yeah. Yes.
I just look at him and go, I promised you one good hit.
Excuse me, gentlemen, he says as he puts his cup down over the dice and kind of like creakily tries to stand up and wobbles a bit, as he does. Do you want to do this outside, Captain? Because I'd hate for the...
Sure.
And they're all like, what's going on? And you get outside and you're on the beach now, and there's, a handful of crew who have been in these tents, a couple that have just, found a shady spot, waking up. Laheb and Winifred, you're probably out here too, I imagine, as you see your captain and James, your newly appointed quartermaster, who is the both of them kind of coming out of this tent. As James, you see, starts to roll up his sleeves and unbuttons a couple of buttons on his shirt and untucks it the rest of the way from his trousers.
Like you see Bart, he like takes off his hat and he just kind of sets it down on the ground, right?
A convenient rock for the sake of
convenient rock right there, right? He pulls off.
You might want to do that in a room, not on the beach.
Push you.
And gentlemen,
I take off my jacket and I just kind of go,
put that over the rock too.
Yeah, I just kind of like crack the neck either way, and I'm just like
the slight distance as James is like rolling his shoulders and like shaking himself out. He goes over to the shoreline, to the water, splashes some on his face, kind of wipes his hands down his trousers. And you see that they have this conversation, and it's up to you if you want it close enough to see what they're saying. As he leans in, he goes, "You sure we want me to do this, Captain? You just..."
Hey, a promise is a promise, right? Let's see what you got.
All right. And he takes off a couple of rings off of his fingers. You can see this now, Winifred, if you're getting closer. And he sets them down, kind of makes a little pool in the sand and sets them in there. Looks back at the two men that have come out of the tent. Either one of you touches those, you're dead. All right. And
Bart literally like goes, "Let's see what you got."
All right. And you watch as James raises his fists as if like in a boxing match. He's like, you got to put your fists up at least. I can't just smack you like that. Like, at least make it look like you're trying.
Okay.
Is
All right.
drunk?
And he's a little bit unsure on his feet. And as you kind of like tap the side that you want him to punch,
come on, let's go.
he kind of goes like that, and then whacks you on the other side that you're not prepared for. So let's see here. Does 20 hit your evasion?
Oh, yeah.
It does. Okay.
Yeah, it really does.
This is where I have to look up damage for unarmed attacks because I've forgotten. Here we go. Hold on. Combat. Where are we? Oh, my PDF reader's being really weird. I know it's in here somewhere, but I can't remember what it is. James, if you're in chat, can you shout it at me? My PDF viewer isn't letting me search for anything. Oh, it's here. It's 1 plus the brawn, so that is going to be 4 points of damage.
All right.
James, like, you're prepared for one cheek and he just clocks you on the other one. And for the sake of narrative, because we all know what this punch was supposed to be for, despite his drunken state, it hurts. Like,
oh yeah,
he's a pretty big dude. And you feel the jaw crack as you just hit the sand. And suddenly there's sand in your face and the world's spinning a bit and it's all in your mouth. And Winifred and Laheb, you watch this slightly from a distance, probably without any context, as James just decks Bart and he hits the sand and there's a loud groan. And James is shaking his fist out. "Oh, you've enough got a hard jawline." And then puts his hand out to you to help you back up.
I literally go, "Nah, I'm just gonna lay here a while. Kind of comfy."
I like to think that what he does is he kind of helps prop you up and like move you to less the middle of the beach. So you're propped up against a rock. And
I'm propped up against my rock.
Yeah. He takes your captain's hat and just kind of plonks it on your head, tips it down like you would do for somebody, you know, who's trying to sleep, picks his rings up and starts putting them back on. And everyone else is just like, what just happened? And you watch as James just goes back into the tent and they're shouting from in there of something like, "Did you just look at my bloody dice?" As that fades out. However,
Winifred just shrugs and just like, "Well, that's clearly between them," and just continues to make sure that the ship is well stocked.
Is there anything Laheb wants to do in the morning before the meeting with Captain Haid?
No, I think Laheb is just going to do the usual of kind of like going through the different books that they have to sort of prepare themselves, especially because Eliza mentioned that Jennings will likely have many questions about things. And so they're going to try and like make sure that they have all of their information in order so that they're prepared to answer any of those questions.
Okay, so the morning rolls around and it's not quite dawn that you end up meeting, but a little while afterwards, maybe 9-10 o'clock in the morning, as you board the Lady Silence once more. But you have a big old bruise coming up along the jawline now that's kind of spreading up the cheek from where James has lamped you on the side of the face. You board the ship and you are met by Saxby. Welcome aboard, Captain. So I assume that you have brought the statue you talked about, any other correspondence, anything else that you... Are you missing one? As he looks over your number. Where's the kind of spooky one?
Right, yeah.
He's
I hope
busy.
everything's okay.
It's Papa. He's fine.
You're right. Yeah, he's fine. Question mark.
He looks at you, Winifred. The captain's waiting for you in her quarters if you want to head through. And as you go that way, he stops you, Winnie. Is everything okay?
Just the world's turning upside down. But other than that, we had a great night last night. Yeah.
I meant with
Sad soul? It was self-inflicted, but he had an event that he's resting up from in his room still.
Didn't seem like the type to have too many cups of grog.
Oh, it wasn't grog. No, it wasn't grog.
Oh.
It was a substance in question. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Okay. He genuinely looks concerned.
Yeah.
After
It's
you?
inaccurate. Yeah. Okay.
You pile into the captain's quarters. And Haid is sitting there waiting for you, just like she had sat before, perched on the edge of her desk in front of it, hands on. They're very relaxed. She spends a moment lingering on you, Leheb. Just eyes all of you up and down. Looks at Saxby, who says, "So did you bring the statue?"
He just kind of looks over. We have every assurance that you're not going to gut us right here, yes?
Haid looks at you almost insulted.
Mm-hmm.
And she pulls back her jacket, and you can see that before, where she would stow pistols and cutlasses, there are no weapons on her. Closes it again and waits patiently.
Well, he just kind of like looks over at Belle and at Winifred, is kind of like, "You got it with you? Yeah, sure, right?"
No, Captain.
Was on the you kept it on the boat, right?
No, Captain.
You hit, okay. We're gonna have to go back.
I hit it real good, Captain.
Okay.
Winnie, did you lose the statue?
Oh no, I know exactly where it is.
Okay. Go get it while we wait here. I was more along the line. Yeah, no, I was more of a hide it on the boat in case somebody tried to come get it from us last night kind of thing.
Oh, well, you made it sound like you made it sound different there, Bart. You made it sound like I should hide it real good, and I hid it real good.
Yeah, you are right. I should have chose my words better.
All right. And she just starts muttering and grumbling and heading off towards the rowboat, or it would have to be a rowboat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As this exchange is happening, Laheb, you can see Haid is watching Bart and Winifred have this conversation, her eyes dart between them. You hear the voice in your head, that same clipped English accent. Did your crew really think I would come in the middle of the night to steal it? Is this the trust that we talked about?
I think Lahib like laughs out loud at this comment. And like the others don't know why they're laughing because they can't hear this. And they just look over at Captain Haid and say, I think old habits die hard. It's just paranoia. Winnie's getting the statue now.
You hear again the voice in your head. Yes. The fact that they felt the need to hide it is worrying. What else are you hiding from me? And she says it like it's a joke, but it's not. The tone of her voice implies that it is, but the way she is looking at you does not.
I am not hiding anything from you. Now, I can't speak for my colleagues because I should say I didn't even know that the statue was hidden to begin with. But I am not hiding anything from you. I think yesterday should have been proof of that, no?
And Bart, you see this, Haid staring at Laheb answering things.
Oh,
Saxby hasn't spoken either. Jugs is nowhere to be seen in this interaction. But Saxby isn't speaking, hasn't asked Laheb anything.
Oh, now you two, you'll talk to her, huh?
She looks at you as if with a kind of shrugs her shoulders.
Mm-hmm. This is why I don't trust you.
Who is that at? Is that at Captain Haid or me?
That's a Captain Haid.
Okay, just double checking.
Yeah, straight up at Captain Haid. This is why I don't trust you.
She looks back at you, Laheb. Your captain does not trust me.
I'm talking to you, not her. Look at me.
She looks at you, and Laheb, she repeats again while looking at Bart. Your captain does not trust me.
You'll have to forgive him. He has issues with what we do.
Like those issues. He has issues.
Bart's just getting, by the way, you're only hearing Laheb's side of this conversation.
What are you saying?
He is the one in charge of the crew, in charge of you. If he commands you to deceive me, how can I trust that you won't?
I think Laheb turns to Bart at this point and just kind of looks at him and says, I think we can be a little bit more lenient with Captain Haid. I think it's clear that if she wanted to gut us in our sleep or steal things from us, that she would have done so already. It's not wise to start a business relationship with this level of mistrust, no? And like Lahib is trying to be very careful, trying to be like, Bart, like we gotta
No. I mean, the Bart just kind of no. And he turns and he looks to Haid. It is no surprise that my camp doesn't trust your camp as far as we can throw it. The simple fact that we are working together right now alone speaks volumes. So we'll take it with that. However, comma. it does not mean that I'm not always going to keep one eye on you at all times.
She looks at you, and you can't tell what expression is going on beneath the mask that covers her lower face. But Laheb, while she stares at Bart, you hear the voice again in your head. I cannot trust him. Can I trust you?
I think Laheb just nods. They don't actually say anything verbally, and I assume Bart is looking at Captain Haid, so maybe he doesn't notice this.
Bart follows it up, like what he's saying, with my job is to keep my crew alive and bring them back alive. And you're asking me to take my crew to what is most certainly their death. So yeah, I don't trust you, but we'll see what happens when we go meet Jennings. Then I'll know if I can trust you.
You think, Laheb, somewhere quietly and gently, you almost hear Haid laugh.
Oh, come on, Captain, you wound me. You don't think that myself and Papa Sadsoul could keep us alive?
He literally just looks at you with this look of that's like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
As that exchange,
That's how you would describe what I did that for us. That was not a knife.
And he looks back over at Haid. If even only half the rumors about her and her kind are true, then we are in over our heads more than you can possibly imagine.
you hear another voice, Laheb, as Haid picks herself up from resting on the desk and walks towards Winifred, but you hear the voice. Oh, if half the rumors about me were true, everyone in this room would be dead. She walks over to you, Winifred, sees Kiki on your shoulder. You think you perhaps see a smile in her eyes.
Winifred's retrieving the statue.
Oh, yes, of course. Winifred's retrieving. Yeah.
Grumbling the whole way.
I imagine that you make it back, probably to find the three of them and Saxby just sat in silence. Like an awkward silence. You come in to find Haid pulling books from her shelf, flicking through them and putting them back until she seems to find the one she's looking for. She hands it to you, Laheb.
What is it?
It has a blank cover, but it looks old. And it appears to be a handwritten book, not a printed one. It has notes and scribbles in a not amazing handwriting, but you do recognize here some what looks to be language similar to what's been carved on the various stones you have recovered so far. Winifred, when you arrive, Haid gestures for you to enter the captain's cabin once more and seems pleased by this slightly dusty, sandy potato sack that you are holding. She spots Kiki on your shoulder and kind of reaches up to, give her a scratch around the scruff of the howler monkey's neck.
Yeah. Kiki, be good.
You think you can almost see a smile in her eyes. She looks at you questioningly. And it's like she's trying to read you.
I've brought back the statue.
She gestures to her desk, which has been cleared.
She just sets the sack down, all sandy on top of it. And she's not, Winifred doesn't open the sack at all. She doesn't want to touch
It just
that thing.
nopes out as soon as it's down.
There you go. There you go.
Haid walks up to her back now to you as you hear her pulling the sack open and the sound of it ruffling the fabric against fabric as she discards it on one side of the desk. And she's almost silhouetted by the light that's coming in from the window behind her desk. And you see her pick something up. She just stands there, faced away from you, presumably holding the green statuette. There is a thunk as she places it back down on the leather writing mat. Turns around. Looks straight at you, Winifred, as the first person in her eye line, and the piercing blue eyes are wide. Like someone shocked. The first real expression you've ever really seen on her face that hasn't been calm and collected.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
And she turns round again and almost steps aside so she can look at it without turning to face it.
No, don't touch it. It's gross. It feels terrible in her hands. It looks terrible. What is it?
She takes your hand, Winifred. And she guides you towards the desk where the statue is. Has Winifred ever touched this statue?
Not barehanded.
She places your hand onto the head of this strange creature. And you've picked up the black stone that has that kind of slick, oily feeling.
Oily.
And this feels the same. It's like the stone is wet or damp, but it's not. There's nothing on your hands. Wetter and damper than that black stone. Like it feels like this thing should be dripping with liquid, but it's not. She
Whoever
lets go.
carved this was mad.
She picks it up once more and kind of holds it to look at it. And you see something in her face change.
Oh, careful there, girl.
And just below the mask, where you can make out her jawline, you see it clench. She takes the statuette in one hand and throws it to the floor. You watch as the green stone shatters across the wood floor. And as it does, it seems to bleed.
Oh.
This thick, black, inky liquid, which begins to pool and seep into the wood beneath your feet.
Ooh.
And I think that's where we'll end tonight's session. We'll end a little bit early, I think, because we don't have Noir, and we're getting to a point in the story now where we kind of need you all together. And I don't want Noir to miss out on too much of some of the spooky goings on, because some of this relates to what he's got himself into. But I think we'll leave it there. Winifred's first real taste of something spooky kind of happening with this. I hope this is okay for you folks, and that you've enjoyed the slightly shorter kind of downtimey session. And hopefully we will get back to the action next week. We've probably only got a couple of episodes left now. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how much more trouble you get yourselves into that you then have to get yourselves out of. But I think we'll go around, let everybody plug what they need to plug. Let us know where we can find you, talk about all the awesome stuff that you are doing. Obviously, Noir is not here with us today. Noir is on his way back from Gen Con, but you should go check out Noir over on Twitter and Twitch. He does so many awesome projects that he works on in various capacities and is generally an incredibly talented human being. And a role-play gamer. So please go check Noir out and see what he's up to recently. We'll go counterclockwise the way we went around before. So we'll start with Belle. How was tonight for you?
This was great. This was wonderful. I'm having so much fun.
I can't wait to see more of like Winifred having to experience some of the strangeness, because I think like now it's becoming very real. It's not just gribbly things that she can fight. She's seeing it affect her friends. The
mental aspect of this, it's really starting to sink in for her, for sure. And the unknown, the possibilities that are now out there that are unknown are really starting to get in and affect her, which I love. I'm Belle Share. I had a great time playing Winifred Teague today, and you can find me on Instagram. Not so much Instagram, Twitter and Twitch as Belle Share. Currently, I am playing nurse to my husband who just had major surgery. But if you could give him a get well soon, that would be great. Usually I do stream on Twitch. I do cosplay streams, teaching people how to cosplay, how to sew pretty much, how to create with that medium. And I play some games too. Right now I'm really into Destiny 2. Again, Bungie has sucked me back in.
I hear Destiny is that kind of game where you're like, okay, I've put this down, and you're like, oh, new things, and suddenly you're like, I'm another 100 hours in.
How did I do this to myself? Yeah.
I'm exactly the same.
Yep. At it, but having fun.
Go and check out Belle and all of the awesome things that she does, and also, get well soon to your hubby. So,
thank you.
Next up we have Kurt. How was this for you? I'm really enjoying Bart's character art from going from the nope to like, well, I guess if we have to do this, I'm just gonna be in charge. Like he's decided to take his fate in his hands and be like, no, I will control this situation as much as I can.
Yeah. Bart's very much, he's pretty easygoing until he gets pushed hard enough. And he's officially been pushed hard enough. And it's very, very interesting. Tonight's been awesome. My two biggest takeaways from this evening is, look at me, I am the captain now. And the second one is pirate tacos. They're real. James, got to put them in. But yes, I look forward to our next session. Miss Noir, because I have no doubt that there would have been even more creepiness going on. And so I'm looking forward to it. Next, you can find me on my channel on Wednesday. I should be doing Apex. If I can't get Apex then working, because, well, those who play Apex know that there are current server issues. Then I will be playing Siege, because thanks to Virginia, I have a new, got any more of them bands. Anyway, but yeah, aside from that, yes, that's where you'll find me next, is on my channel on Wednesday, playing some Apex or Siege, one of the two.
Go check Kurt out. Kurt is very, very fun to play games with and watch, so make sure you go do that. And last but definitely not least, Hamna, how you doing? I know you said earlier that you had something that you needed to shout about that's happening tomorrow. I'm excited to hear what that is.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Hamna. I use any and all pronouns. and today I have played Lahib Suffer. I am very intrigued by how things have been going. I wasn't expecting for us to have like a full-blown arc with Captain Hade, and I think it's extremely exciting. I think we have a lot in common, so that'll be very interesting to play out. Potential party tension, who knows? We'll see. It'll be fun. But off of the stream, well, on the stream and off of the stream, I'm a TTRPG performer, and you can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects that I'm a part of. And most recent that is coming up is tomorrow. I will be on Transplanar RPG's channel for the second episode of the Hounds of Mercy versus Mercy's 7 Evil Exes and all of Ndake. It is super fun. We are going around. It is a mini series that runs alongside Transplanar's main campaign. We are currently running around all of Ndake, all of the 8 nations, fighting Mercy's 7 evil exes, and having some very sad feels of our own in the wake of the apocalypse. I play a very, very heartbroken, coping very poorly, heartbroken rogue. So if you're interested in watching some of that, if you like the bad decisions I make more of them over there as well. So you should definitely come check me out tomorrow. That is at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Awesome. Please go check Hamna out as well. That sounds like an amazing campaign. That sounds like so much fun. Last but not least, hi, I'm V. I've been your game master tonight. Thank you, all of my wonderful players here, for coming along and playing with me and letting me torture you further with more spooky shenanigans. Thank you to folks in chat for coming along and watching. It is always good to have you and see what you say in chat. I'm really glad that everyone likes Captain Hade. She was the first NPC that I wrote for this, and I was like, I need a good NPC, and this is I think she would be the character that I played if I was a player. Lilith Official is high key in love with her. It's okay, so am I.
Me too.
You can find me over on Twitter and Twitch at Tabletop Horde. I play a bunch of video game stuff. I'm here on a Monday, but when this eventually comes to an end, I'll be back on my channel on Mondays doing a run through of Mass Effect, the remastered editions, because I've never played them. I won't be doing Tuesday streams anymore, but tomorrow, after tomorrow, I'll be playing Phasmophobia with the wonderful Susanna Grace, Hotflix Tom, and Amelia Tyler. So if you want to see us do spooky stuff, head over there. I don't know what's happening Thursday, if we're doing a one shot here on the BGC channel, but at some point I'm going to be running Space Hike, which is my one sheet RPG. And then Fridays, I usually stream something with some people, usually the BGC crew, unless they're doing Valheim this week, because I don't own it. So I'll probably be playing Siege. But otherwise, you can check me out there. My pinned post on Twitter has links to where you can find me, as well as my portfolio for graphic design. I'm also a TTRPG professional, writing, editing, proofreading, project management. You name it, I've probably done it at this point. So please check that out if you want somebody to work on your projects. But otherwise, what you should definitely go and check out is the blackcatsgamingshop.com to grab your copy of the Spy game if you haven't already. It was nominated for 3 Ennies this year, which is pretty amazing considering I looked at the lineup for the Ennies, and there were a lot of really awesome RPGs up there. So it's really cool that it got 3 nominations. You can also check out all the accessories for that. You can, if you head over to DM's Guild, where you can find dreams, nightmares, and half-remembered meetings for your D&D 5e games, there is a brand new adventure called The Play's the Thing up there for you. I think it's a roughly like 3 to 6 hour adventure, so you can split it up into a good couple of sessions. If spooky goings on in theaters is your kind of thing, and you like something with a lot of description and a lot of really awesome NPCs, go check that out. Yeah, as James pointed out in chat, I did do the layout for that, so go ahead and check that out. I like doing D&D style layouts. As usual, please make sure that if you are downloading anything from Drive-Thru RPG or DM's Guild, that you go ahead and leave it a review. They're really, really important in making that product show up on all of the various pages so that other people can see it outside of our little community here. That would be super helpful. So please go and do that. Otherwise, keep an eye out for late pledges for Curse Captains of Cthulhu, which are coming soon, so you can get your hands on all of the rules and tools to take your own crew out on the high seas and throw weird tentacle monsters at them, or be the crews that have weird tentacle monsters thrown at them, whichever one you prefer. We are going to go and raid over to Susanna Grace, who is, I don't know what she's playing. Have a look.
Valheim.
She's playing Valheim. Susie's gone hard into Valheim from what I've seen in our little chats in Discord. So go over, tell her she's awesome. And we will see you all next week for more spooky pirate stuff, friends. Have a good one. Bye.